Welcome back to the Bucket of Chalk live stream. We're here for stage 3, about to get underway. Our competitors are just going through the final rules for stage 3, and we will be kicking off shortly.
Yeah, I feel so fancy.
Let's see if we can take a quick look at our run order right now.
Oh.
That's all right. Well, here is our run order that we've got so far. Elena Borges kicking things off for us. Ava Colasanti in second. Isabella Wakeham, Melissa Anderson, Taylor Green are going to be our top 5 runners here on stage 3. They'll be the first to tackle this brutal course put together by Kaden Lebsack and Max Feinberg.
Krista.
So looking down further in the list, we'll take a look past Taylor Green. You can see Nick Moore, Vance Walker, Phil Folsom, Ethan Swanson running there at number 17. Daniel Gill getting the fastest time on stage 2, so he will be running last. He's got that advantage. Full clear so far. He's full. Hasn't used any of his falls yet. You were allowed 3 falls on stage 1, and you were allowed 2 falls on stage 2, but Daniel Gill's clean so far.
Call Krista Ganji.
And ladies and gentlemen, we've got Evan Dollard here. Evan Dollard is going to be joining us for stage 3. Evan, let me know if you can hear me.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Evan, let me know if you can hear me.
I can hear you. But I don't get the sense that you can hear me, which is, of course, very disappointing.
1 second here. There it is. Hey, Evan, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me, Chris?
Oh, perfect.
Hey, it's happening.
Evan Dollar joining us all the way from California. So, Evan, you probably got about 5 or so minutes here. They're finishing up the rules for Stage 3. We're live right now, just taking a look at the run order, waiting for our judges to finish the rules with the athletes, but we should be getting kicked off here in about 5 or so minutes.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, and Ryan Stratus was part of this? He was doing commentary on stages 1 and 2? Is he still around?
Ryan Stratus will be joining us for Stage 3. You and Ryan can have at it. Jesse Lebrecht was also commentating on some Stage 2.
No, it's fantastic. How many people do we have in the live stream right now?
We got 44 watching now on the Bucket of Chalk site. Got the stream going in a lot of different places. So 42 on the... No, that's not true.
No, don't lie to the people, Chris.
Give me 1 second here, everybody. It looks like we're about to get started. I'm going to make sure our cameras are in place, so I will be right back. So, Evan, just to get you caught up on some of the action so far, it's been an interesting course. So far, Daniel Gill has really been impressive. Cleared Stage 1 with the fastest time with 0 falls. You were allowed 3 falls, but didn't need any. And then in Stage 2, you were allowed 2 falls. He went flawless again with the fastest time yet again. So he'll be running last here in our Stage 3. And then Taylor Green on the women's side, one of our youth athletes, extremely impressive run on Stage 2, took first for the women, and she'll be running here in the top 5.
Wow. I mean, it doesn't surprise me with Daniel Gill. He is one of the top competitors. Every single course that he tackles, he seems to make it look effortless. So that'll be exciting. Now, how much did the falls play, having that 3 fall and then the 2 fall option, play into who we see in the lineup here for Stage 3?
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely some athletes. The top 50% moved on, and so there were certainly some athletes who had a fall on Stage 2 move on, but they are going to be earlier in the run order, and so, you know, it was based on how many falls you had first, and then time was the tiebreaker. So.
And now moving into Stage 3, is it 1 fall that you're allowed, or do you need to be flawless in this?
Stage 3, Ryan Stratus is getting an update, and it's 1 fall and done. Is that correct, Ryan? Yes. So Strat is here joining the broadcast booth. I'm gonna hand you over, Evan, to Ryan Stratus.
Well, I'm in good hands, and by hands, of course, I mean triceps, because
why exactly,
that's all I see
Mr.
when I
Evan.
look at Ryan. That's all I see.
Mr. Dollar, you have a shirt
man.
on. This is not the vision I expected. How's it going, man? Long time no talk.
Well, I'll be honest. I was out on the lake a little bit doing some hydrofoiling. You know, it really puts me in the ninja spirit, and I am just ice cold. And you know it's true because I'm wearing layers. In what world? In what world? How come I can't see you? That's my biggest problem.
Oh, we have all the GoPros are on the floor right now. You'll probably catch a glimpse of us towards the tail end of the stage, so you'll have to have to hold tight for that epic view there, Mr.
Oh man, you certainly know how to build the suspense.
Oh, I think okay, Mr. Carbone is just jumping all over the place here. I think our live stream is just poking around, seeing what's going on. The competitors are still warming up. They just finished rules not too long ago. And this looks like a devious obstacle course here. These kids have come up with some crazy obstacles. And Caden's giving us a demo here. Cliffhanger straight through. Now check this one out. You have to put that in there, kind of like the northern passage we had on stage 3, but the leverage is what's causing those to stay in there. And then rotate them around. Oh yeah, dude, it's crazy.
That is such a unique obstacle. I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, very, very ingenious. And then they've got a few moves they got to do.
And is he doing an overhand hook? Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, you got to flip them upside down. Just for the steps up top, you use them like normal hooks and then invert them.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, the Bucket of Chalk kids really.
So is he doing the formal run through right now, showing the rules for the other athletes?
Correct. So this is like the dry run. They've already did the rules, so Caden's going to show us that it can be beaten. He's been demoing a lot. This is on an uphill slant here. You need to have a good backswing to pull up, or else you'll miss that hook and then go into those platforms to make sure you're clear.
Wow, so those hooks really play a role in completing 2 of those obstacles in a row.
Yeah, it's like you got to take them with you. Then they have these Oreo packages for the laches. Very, very ingenious. I think that might be an inside joke there, but I want to get some snacks and dessert after this. Now, this is a cool variation on the clackers. They added some spokes, so it's more of a vertical grip. And they have to go all the way through, moving every clacker into that end position before dismounting down. Now, these are some pretty devious obstacles here. They have to only go on the ledge there. They can use the tops of the slopes for those big cannonballs. But then onto these cannon pegs. If you notice, these are attached to the lightning bolts, so they kind of rotate and they'll tip over. And then you have to make your way, still using some tiny ledges, onto this fat nunchuck and slide all the way past the black in order for that to be a clear. I'm going to get some obstacle names here in a little bit so we have some official verbiage we can use for these obstacles. And then this is our final one. They have to utilize this unique hold that Stronghold's come up with, where it's just so pumpy because you have to just rotate the holds until you reach a certain point. There's some red tape that you can make out there. Pretty big distance because you don't get much off of those rotations. Barely getting any, but it's got to go all the way up past the red tape. Caden's had a long day here demonstrating so many obstacles. It just shows how strong he is to be able to still get through everything and run the event. Very impressive. All these Bucket of Chalk kids, and there's the slight hiccup, which will make that one kind of tricky. So don't think that would have counted as clear because he did not make it to the...
So it looked like...
Go ahead, Evan. Sorry about that. There seems to be a little delay here.
No, you're good. You're good. A little bit of delay. That's going to keep happening, and there's nothing. I have no problem with you interrupting me, Ryan Stratis. That's the right that you've earned after everything you've put into this sport, and the world, really.
Oh, thank you.
It was interesting, that obstacle, that little hiccup there, as you said. It looks like once I'm going to do my best to fumble through the explanation here, but essentially the ropes that it's hanging on, they are twisting around the bar, the PC pipe, as he's going up. And if you have it askew, or if it wraps sideways, then you run the risk of unraveling and not completing. Is that correct?
I believe so. The sides are, as you saw, if it wrapped around to a certain point, then it won't wrap anymore, and then you're pretty much stuck dead in the water. They might tweak it to determine maybe let's lower the red tape to a easier spot to prevent that malfunction from happening, because you hate to see, an obstacle like that, and that's exactly what it looks like Mr. Intensity himself is trying to do, or maybe he's just trying to make sure they're even so it doesn't happen. But it seems that red tape might have been lowered just a little bit to make sure that unraveling doesn't happen by accident, because you don't want that for sure happening at the very end of a course run.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, you look at someone like Camden with all his upper body strength and grip strength, like he is a powerhouse athlete. So now you mentioned it, he's had a long day himself, but all of these athletes, having reached this point, stage 3, have had a long day. And with as many suspended obstacles as there are in the stage 3, it's going to be tough to make it to the top of that final obstacle. There's no question.
Yeah, it's definitely been exciting to watch. We haven't had a multi-stage gym competition like this, and man, I don't even remember the last one that was held. So it's great to see, the U3 really embrace kind of what the spirit of the show was originally about. Just a lot of hard work, and really shows the community come together and put in the effort, and a lot of effort when you're doing multiple stages like this.
Now, how are you doing health-wise, Ryan Stratus? Are you still competing? Are you still training? What's going on?
Oh, thanks for asking, Mr. Evan. I'm doing pretty well. I had some shoulder issues again at the start of the year. Got some stem cell injections, which helped immensely. So I won't need the same surgery that I had on my right side. And training-wise, because of COVID and just a combination of a few things, decided to kind of take a step back and let my body heal this year. So I'll be getting stronger eventually, but definitely been taking the year off for the first time. I finally missed season 12, finally missed my first season of the show this year.
Oh, man, end of an era. You had such a consistent run there. But I'm glad you're taking time off from season 12. It's important to rest up and make sure your body has time to recover, and that's hard. It's hard to do, having been in the community as long as I have been. People like you, or even James McGrath, or perhaps even David Campbell, like there's an injury that comes up. It's so hard to want to have the strength and the will to sit out a season, because it's just so important to you. You've given so much to it. There's the enjoyment aspect of it. There's the competition, and then of course the community. So I'm sure that was a tough decision to make, but ultimately a worthwhile one that allow you to continue to compete for the next 10 years.
I hope so, man. Yeah, I don't think the show's going anywhere for a while. It's still popular, and even if the show would go away one day, I think the community is building to a point where this sport will develop beyond what the show is, and I am excited to see how this community continues to grow. And you see the youth and all they've accomplished in just a few short years. It's great to be a part of it and see everything as it started from its roots. So I can say it's been a blessing, and I'm totally grateful for all the opportunities I've had. And don't plan on missing out on too many more seasons, but definitely excited to watch everybody grow in this sport.
Yeah, it's come such a long way. When Grant McCartney and I had the chance to do commentary for UNX just this past year, one of the things that was very apparent being at Ultimate Ninjas Naperville during that time was just how much the sport had grown. So my first season was season 2 of American Ninja Warrior. There were not city qualifiers. It was just one location, Venice Beach, during the day.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
show up, you try to compete, and qualify top 30 that first day, top 15 the next day. And then they took us to a boot camp, which you participated in the boot camp in Simi Valley, and they whittled us down to 10 and then took us to Japan to compete at Sasuke. But I remember showing up on set that first day of season 2 and being asked if I was a parkour athlete or a CrossFit athlete. And honestly, I was neither, but that just those were the type of athletes that were responding to this program, to this competition. And since then, the show has, or the sport rather, has spun off into gyms across the nation and across the world, and young people, this is how they train. And that's what I saw in Naperville, was like 13-year-old Kylie Hughes won the first UNX championship. And it's because this is her sport. This is how she trains and what she's growing up doing. Whereas this didn't exist when you and I first started.
Right.
And it is, to your point, really exciting to see the growth and the evolution of the sport itself.
Yeah, man, it was we are a far cry away from what we started with many moons ago. Those first couple of seasons, the hot days out in the desert, all the hay bales in between obstacles, out on the boot camp days. Oh man, were you on which team? The White Tigers? Were you one of the White Tigers? I'm repping Red Dragons.
I was
always.
not. I was season 2. I was a Blue Monkey.
Oh, okay, Blue Monkeys. I got it wrong. I got to go back and watch some of those episodes.
Honestly, was fine, but when you think about what the other 2 options were, dragon. If you're gonna be a dragon, a tiger, or a monkey, gosh, I think you want to be a dragon or a tiger, personally. So, but it was still a really good time. Brian Orozco, that was my first time meeting him. He and I were on a team together, and then that next season, season 3, I did not qualify top 15, but I ended up going in testing. And so for the testers, I don't know if you remember this at all, they put us in black shirts.
Yes.
And so we declared ourselves the Black Sheep.
Oh no, I remember. you and Kretsch and a few others.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So you had the white tigers, the red dragons, the blue monkeys, and then the black sheep. And boy, that was a good time. That was a really good time.
Yeah, that's
those are the days.
Those courses back then are nothing compared to what we've got nowadays. I would love to see that format make a comeback. I think the fans would kind of enjoy a little more screen time with some of the competitors and seeing how they react with each other in those kind of camp, real world kind of situations. Definitely a lot of fun, and it would be a wholly different experience than how they see them now, which is just like maybe 1 or 2 episodes and that's all she wrote. So who knows, man.
Well, yeah. I mean, the show has evolved as well, and the screen time really was what brought me to the table to begin with. So, yeah, the more the more screen time I get, the better. That's how I feel.
Oh man, what about you are you ever gonna make a comeback? You thinking about trying to put the ninja shoes back on, or what about Titan Games? That's almost like American Gladiators.
Yeah, it is actually. Titan Games is a lot like American Gladiator. It was fun to see Jessie Graff compete on that, and to a certain extent,
I think we got our first runner here going.
Through her.
Sorry to cut you off there, Evan.
Oh, it's happening! Fantastic. No, do what you got to do.
All right, we're up and going here. Let's see who this first runner is up.
Elena Borges, is that who we have?
Elena Borges is up and going. You are correct, sir. First obstacle down. Let's see how she handles the operation is the official name of this one.
Wow, even that starting platform, you can see her legs are shaking. There's not a lot of stability to get started, and you want something. What you want when your hands are already compromised, you want a sure footing, obviously, with your lower body, if possible. And it looks like that the start of this obstacle does not give you either.
No, well, it's got to be definitely going to be questioning the right hand position for this, because it's such a weird motion to be able to lock that into position and making sure it's stuck in there. I can speak from experience on that little step back, and that's all she wrote. Man, she just couldn't.
She just stepped back.
Couldn't get the pressure, couldn't trust that first hold I think just being able to really fully commit and get that weight leveraged in there is going to be, you know, the key to getting a good start on that one.
Ethan Swanson, always good to see a shot of him. But yeah, Elena Borges, obviously she's been one of the top competitors within the sport over the last few years, and she's competed very well at the UNX Championship Series, so it's fun to watch her get out there again. But she's got unfortunate exit there, but she's got so many years of competition ahead of her. Not worried about her at all. So
For
great
sure.
job, Elena.
All right, Ava's up now, going through the cliffhanger here. Usually you see cliffhanger later into stage 3, but they're starting it right off the rip here as like a warm-up lap, which goes to show the Bucket of Chalk course designers not holding anything back on stage 3. Let's see how she handles this operation here. Just got to get that thing locked in.
Yeah, no, it looks like the trick. Getting both of those locked in to start has to be challenging.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of lock-off
strength. I mean, she's still fumbling with that first one, trying to find a good position. Yeah.
Oof. And this is something I doubt anybody's ever tried. This is something brand new I've never seen, besides the variation of the Northern Passage. But it looks like she's got the first one in and already into the second one. Does she have the lock-off strength to unhook that first one?
Wow, look at that. She's so close. Almost gets it in there. Yeah, she dropped it down, held onto it with her leg, tried to get a different hold on it.
I'm on pins and needles here because this is stressful to watch.
Yeah, she's been hanging on by one hand for so long, and that's it.
Boy, it's a great try. She looks, rightfully so, a little disappointed there to go out so early after making it so far. But that is a tough obstacle to start things off on stage 3.
It is tough, and it's one of those things that I think is the most perhaps maddening but alluring aspect of the sport, because every obstacle course is different. And as the sport evolves, as we talked about before, these gym owners and these course creators are always trying to push the boundaries and seeing what they can do creatively to really challenge these athletes and take them to the next level. So you never know as an athlete what you're going to experience on the course. And this obstacle in particular is so challenging. I've seen nothing like it before, and I don't, as you said, I don't think a lot of these athletes have either.
No, this is something that is definitely going to test out their lock-off strength and their endurance. It's going to give them a good burn right off the bat, and it's very technical because they have to switch the position in their handholds after they manage to make it up that first half. They have to hook the steps to transfer back down the other side. It is just a taxing, brutal second obstacle on stage 3. I'll tell you, Evan, I am glad I am back in the commentating booth and not having to face this course right now. This is outside of my wheelhouse. Oh, my goodness.
This is a perfect time for you to be resting and recovering.
Very much so. Oh, we got a camera running in the back here. Oh, Krista Ganji, welcome back. And there we go. And just in time to see her clear that first obstacle.
Just in time. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and guess that she did that flawlessly.
Agreed. All right.
Now it looks like I don't have the stats in front of me right now, but it looks like she has a little more height here than perhaps the other two competitors we saw before her. Because look at that, she can fully extend and lock those two holds in without having to do a lock off for that first move. And look at this.
Fighting through, you can hear the crowd all the way back here cheering for her. and directly onto the hook. And takes a big breath there, controlling her breathing. Impressive so far. First one to this point. Let's see if she can handle the down moves. Making sure that leverage is holding that cane in place. Oh, look at,
Wow.
oh my gosh, and she saves it as it comes out of the hold. Operation success. Holy smokes, dude.
Oh man, I think we were both holding our breath a little bit there. That was absolutely fantastic. So much fun to watch her, and way to hang on for the ride. Like, she gritted through that obstacle, and the first athlete here on stage 3 to make it through operation.
Beautiful move onto the shuffleboard is what this one called. She had the right amount of momentum to make it all the way through there. 3 obstacles down so far. Looking for a little chalk here.
Well done. And the bucket of chalk competition living up to its name.
There's a bucket of chalks everywhere.
Always have. You definitely want a bucket of chalk close by. Yes, especially for this many suspended obstacles in a row.
All right, now we're on to Caden's Oreo dunk. No! Too much milk on that Oreo. Slipped right off.
Oh, and just. Yeah. Oh, Ryan Stratus, you were born to do this, my friend. Too much milk on the Oreo. That was Akbar caliber commentary right there.
I'm trying, my friend. This is I'm having a blast back here. I was jealous of you and Grant last year calling the shots on UNX. Giving it my all here. Hopefully I can vie for a position next season potentially.
Oh, I see. So you're gunning for my job. Is that what's happening?
No, you're here with me, so Grant, I'm gunning for Grant. Grant's not here to defend himself.
Oh, you're gunning for Grant. Got it. That makes more sense. Yeah, okay, I'm back on board. Yeah.
Sweet. All right, up next we have, I believe.
Keep dropping those gems like too much milk on the Oreo and you're a shoo-in.
I believe we got Melissa Anderson is up right now. Looked really strong through stage 2. And I know she's a strong competitor out here in Colorado. And got the reach and the length for these obstacles. Let's see how her upper body holds up.
Nice big lache to the landing platform. Looking very comfortable so far. This is where I think a little bit of extra height is definitely an advantage. Sliding that first hook in and able to, with her feet still on the starting platform, slide the second hook in really gives you some grounding to start this obstacle. And look at that lock off.
Good pulls here.
Oh,
look at that.
Oh, my goodness.
Even pushing off of the lower one to try to get that hook up a little higher. Ooh, let's see. Oh, no, not enough. Not enough leverage there.
Surprising, too, because she was looking so strong. Like you said, she was pulling and almost pushing and pressing with one hook while pulling on the other. And it looked like she was going to just annihilate that obstacle. But it goes to show you just how tough it can be.
Yeah, it's a sudden change of where that leverage is at. That's exactly how it went down on stage 3. You hate to see it, but those things can happen in a blink of an eye if you're not quite ready for it. So we're going to see next competitor up here is Taylor. Taylor was flying through stage 2. A strong, younger competitor who's been putting in the work over the years. And let's see how she handles the start of this crazy, crazy stage 3.
Nice work sliding that hook into position. Good lean back, putting that weight on the hook to get that leverage. It's such an interesting.
Oh man, this is definitely
Such an
all
interesting
about.
move, and wow,
Yeah, it's all about that one arm pull. Oh no!
Full arm extension there. Oh, I like that idea though. It's like it's as though she used both her hands, right? Put both her hands on one hook to try to pull up a little bit higher in order to get back into a lock-off position to get that second hook in place, and just wasn't able to do it. But I like the strategy and the effort.
Yeah, she had a good idea there by matching both hands on. Perhaps when she pulled so hard, it might have had a little lift that caused it to come unlodged. But man, this is definitely all about one arm pull strength. Definitely going to have to be working on my one arm pull-ups if this is something that we may see down the road.
Now, I'm curious, Ryan, what your perspective is. Now, this is the first stage in this competition where the athletes don't have a fall to give. So in stage 1 and stage 2, you had falls to give, but now for the first time in stage 3 here, you do not have one. Does that elevate your mental game, or does it give you anxiety as an athlete?
Well, being one and done is always a little more stressful on a course when you know you only have one chance to clear an obstacle. And here we got Nick Moore on the course right now, and seeing if that's going to affect his mental game at all. But definitely it will come into play whenever you start seeing other competitors fall constantly, because then it becomes a game of getting through the furthest, the fastest on the course in order to get a fast enough time to move on.
And they're having a little bit of difficulty with that lower hook. Now he seems to have found a grip that he likes. Let's see if he can make this move.
Man, it's just such a tricky technical obstacle. It's a power and strength-based obstacle, but very technical at the same time. He's trying to stick. Man, it can be frustrating when you're up there too, because if things aren't working exactly like you're expecting them to, you just start second-guessing yourself, and it can be really tough. Nick's struggling here, but he's trying to fight through it.
Oh, so awkward. He's reaching over his body while hanging on by one hand. Oh, and that's it for his run.
Yeah, this is a tough one. When Caden did it and demonstrated for everybody.
Diabolical obstacle.
Yeah, Caden just made it look like a cakewalk. And it's just a testament to how strong he is if he can just do that. And, of course, he had probably plenty of time. These competitors, this is their first time getting their hands on the obstacle. So that's part of being a ninja. You got to be able to do things on the fly and on the spot. Up next,
now, you were talking earlier about how when Vance Walker, let's see how he does. Now, when you see other athletes fail an obstacle consistently, sometimes in the sport you call that a ninja killer obstacle. Yes, where you see these athletes, that's the one that keeps taking people out. And it can get in the heads of the competitors, at least in this one, because they have a chance to see how the other athletes are doing on the course. And you have to be careful of your mindset when you see one particular obstacle like this one that he's getting on right now, taking other athletes out. You have to have an iron will and a real control of your mindset so you don't let that get in your head.
Exactly. Anytime you start seeing somebody fall on something, you almost want to just look away so it doesn't affect your plan of attack. And it's tricky because you want to see the beta, you want to learn from other competitors, but then you don't want what somebody else did affect your plan of attack if it was something that they did that you were planning on doing. If that made sense. Oh, there's a lot of talking in circles. But Vance Walker, I've known this kid for a long time.
It did make sense, Ryan. I only got distracted by the arm strength, the lock-off strength. He's doing one arm pull-up to eat. It's smooth. that's what's so startling about it. Like,
Dude.
It takes so much upper body strength to do what he's doing, and he is making it look effortless right now.
I've known Vance. He was one of the first students I was training out at Ninja Quest. He is impressive right now. He's trying to think through his dismount strategy here, though. He looks like he's going to try to get a lower hold here. He was going to be one of the competitors on Season 12 before COVID happened, but looks like he's going to make it through the same way the other one did. Oh, my gosh. That was close.
Boy, you just cannot take any part of that obstacle for granted. Even the dismount is tricky. And then immediately using those same hooks to get into our next obstacle here. And right here, swinging, building momentum to swing one-handed. Great transition, locks it in, and the dismount.
Oh, gets a sip of water on the
He's as far
side.
as any other athlete has gotten on this stage 3 so far.
All right, Vance, let's see what you got here. Do you like your Oreo mince thin or double stuffed? Let's see what he's got here.
You just keep the Oreo puns coming, my man. I love it.
No!
Oh, he ripped the packaging right off of it.
Might want to check the expiration date on those Oreos, because I don't know if that's going to be considered an obstacle malfunction or what. That's what I was feeling the obstacle during the rules and figured, hey, this could happen potentially. It was a slicker hold, so I can see the challenge and the uniqueness of it being like an Oreo package, but at the same time, that does definitely increase the risk of an obstacle malfunction.
Well, it's a fun idea. I love the novelty of it. Oh gosh, he's got another one standing by. So it doesn't look like they're making any changes. They're just swapping out one Oreo hold for another. But yeah, that is interesting.
I'm disappointed there's not
what
actual
are your thoughts
Oreos
on this
in there.
as an athlete? Got it. You're more concerned that there's no real Oreos to be eaten. You'd think it'd be like a piñata at this point, right?
Oreos all over the
place. You rip open the hold. Yeah, sure you failed the obstacle, but at least you get some deliciousness raining down on you.
Yes. Well, I think Chris just ran out to see what the status of Vance's run is going to be. So y'all bear with us here. And Vance, looking a little flustered, but I'm sure he's okay. Hopefully they'll either just let him redo that one, pause his time. We're gonna have to wait and see what the official word on the street is.
Now, where are you calling this from, Ryan? Are you actually at the event right now?
Yes, sir. Since this is in Castle Rock, Colorado, that's just about 30 minutes south of where I currently live. I live up in Aurora, but I'll be making my way over to Greenville, South Carolina at the end of the month. But this was the last event that I could come to, and I wanted to help out Ganji and live stream and test my chops out here on the microphone.
Nice.
So excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. When is your upcoming move, and what prompted that?
End of this month, I'll try to get to Greenville by the start of November. It's just a little too expensive for me out here in Colorado, and majority of my ninja gigs that I was getting booked for, majority of those were happening on the East Coast. So just to make it a little easier to get booked, figured I'd go ahead and move back, and I'll be closer to family and friends back over on the East Coast.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. And how can people book Ryan Stratis for the next event? Let's just plug you right now.
Hey man, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You can find me on ryanstratis.com. I got a great website. It's got a lot of my history on there. A lot of my runs are posted. People can email me there or on my Instagram. But RyanStratus.com's got a bunch of my merch and things like that. But DeGange's back with the update, so I'm going to let him go ahead and chime in here.
Breaking news from the sideline. I was just down with the judges, Max Feinberg and Caden Lebsack, and I got word from Max that they were concerned that the Oreos would rip apart, that the packaging wouldn't be strong enough. So that was a concern that they had. They're trying to decide now on whether or not Bids will get a rerun, or if it was the athlete small that they tore apart. They're trying to make that decision now. That's what I'm told. That's the latest update I have, and I will be back with any other updates that I get. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Chris DeGange.
Just a consummate professional, that Chris DeGange. And a great face on him as well, if I don't say so myself.
It'll be interesting to see what the final word is going to be. You hate to see it as a competitor when an obstacle potentially malfunctions like that, when you think it's no fault of your own, and to see your run, slip out from your fingers. But sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles.
Oh my goodness. That one actually took me a minute. I'm not even sure you meant to do that one. Was that pun on purpose? Be honest.
You know it.
What I got on right here, Ryan, is
what you got there?
American Ninja Warrior hoodie.
Oh man, that's a season 7 edition right there.
This is season 7 edition. Yeah.
Classic apparel. You can't get
Pretty
those
serious,
anywhere else.
Pretty serious business.
Limited edition.
You really can. Yeah. But for the right price, you can get this one.
I'll auction it off for a good
cause. It's going to be high. It's going to be.
Go. Don't want to part away with the good
yeah.
merch.
And the cause is my continued life in California. Oh man.
Oreo package ripping open, and that that early on the stage, you don't want to see a deliberation like this happen again. So I'm quite curious to see what these kids, the judges, come up with. I'm sure they're getting some oversight from the Ninja Intensity crew, but this is a great learning lesson for these younger athletes that are trying to run these events. Some days you have great ideas, and sometimes those ideas don't pan out the way you expect them to. So we're waiting to see what the final word is going to be, but definitely a great learning lesson for some of the course designers.
Now, have you ever designed a full course for a competition?
Oh, multiple. I used to run several out of Ninja Quest. I ran the National Ninja League World Finals in Season 3 alongside a lot of the other coaches in Ninja Quest, and several competitions here in Colorado as well. So definitely a challenge. It is not an easy job. You want things to run smoothly. You don't want hiccups like this to happen. And when they do happen, you got to be able to figure out how to adjust fire and continue on with the mission as best and as efficient as possible.
Yeah, no question about that. I mean, and this has been a long day of competing. The first wave kicked off, I believe, at 11 a.m. Yeah, and now we're coming up on 9:15 p.m. That's a full day of athletes running through the court, taking care of the athletes, taking care of the obstacles and everything else. There's no small feat putting on a competition of this caliber. So,
yeah,
but
definitely.
It looks like they're doing everything they can to make the adjustments, as you said. Make the adjustments on the fly, make sure that the safety is paramount, that fairness is paramount for the athlete, and that they can continue to run a good show here.
And it looks like we got Phil Folsom taking off right now, so we'll still wait on what the verdict was with Vance. Mr. DeGange might be coming back with that whenever he returns. We will find out what the update is. But Phil has been looking strong. And we will see how he does on the operation here.
Wow, nice
a little bit.
quick move there. Oh.
Just couldn't quite get those hooks in
I
deep
love
enough.
it. Staring at the hook in his hand, wondering what went wrong. That's exactly what I would be doing.
All right, Chris DeGangi back on the microphone with some updates here. Let's see what Mr. DeGangi has to say.
All right, guys. Well, I was out on the floor and I heard from our judges there was an announcement made. It looks like Vance Walker will be getting a rerun due to the malfunction of the Oreo packaging, but an announcement was made that going forward, athletes will not get a rerun. If it happens again, it's on the athletes to make sure the bag does not rip. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Chris, for that update there. We'll be seeing Vance later on, I'm sure. Up now we have Barry. Barry's running right now. This is one of Jake Murray's teammates who got brought back from the brink of destruction, making his way back after Jake won the Power Tower. You'll see him in the semifinals starting on Monday night. But right now we're getting all the action we can here on Operation. Getting a little strung up here.
Look at that full extension, waving his arm around, trying to, he's a bit twisted up. His shoulder is twisting all the way around. Oh!
That was tough. Tough to see.
For error on Operation.
Definitely frustrating. On next, we have Isaiah Wakeham. Sorry about that.
Now, Operation, is this obstacle named after the famous board game?
I would imagine so. You got to be pretty precise without hitting the sides and getting the buzzer.
That's what's so amusing to me about it is the paradox in that in Operation you have to try not to hit the sides. And this one is almost the exact opposite. Like you have to figure out how to keep it on the side.
Exactly.
I wonder if that was intentional on behalf of the course creators. Add a little levity to the competition.
I don't know if those youngsters ever even played that game, but I'll have to quiz them on it later.
They do. They've been playing it their whole young lives. They've just been doing it wrong. They thought making it buzz was the purpose of the game.
Big pull there for that first
nice
move. What a save. Oh, he tried to reach for the top. Just slipped out. Too much of the momentum caused that to unhook.
Again, I like the strategy. We haven't seen that from any athlete before him. Trying to skip that one rung, go straight to the top. I like the idea of it, but as you saw, it's such a big move, and you need finesse and constant control to put the weight on that hook within that pipe. And with a big move, if you miss, it's going to slide free, and there's no real chance for recovery.
Yeah, as soon as any tension is brought off of the hook, they're going to pop right out, and it's just a quick move. They might be able to make it happen, but that's a risk they're willing to take to try to get through this tricky second obstacle.
If I was doing a course interview with him afterward, I would ask if that was a spontaneous move or if he had planned on that the whole time. Because from my vantage point, it looked like he missed the first hook, but then saw how close he was and just went for it. Yeah, and that's part of the mental game.
Could have been an on-the-fly decision. Who knows? Definitely, man, yeah, like when you're up there, things change on the fly. Oh, man, let's see how Mr. Barry is going to be going on this obstacle right here. Or Brady Parks.
I'm sure he accepts your apology.
Thinking about how to start
Boy,
this
so
bad boy.
precarious.
Got to unhook just a little bit, making sure he's got enough room for that other hand to come out and try to get a little height here. No, just slips out.
Oh, man.
Brutal first couple obstacles here. Kai's up next. Kai Ackel.
I'm trying. I haven't been keeping track on my end, Ryan Stratus. Have there been? I always just use your full name. I think I've been doing that ever since I first met you. I don't just call you Ryan. I don't call you Stratus. I just just Ryan Stratus. It's just so easy to say. But I think he's the third. I think we've only seen 3 athletes make it through this obstacle thus far.
Let's see. We had two females and 1 male, I believe, or yeah, not too many. Only 3, I believe, total. I can't remember quite off the top of my head.
And I don't have the run list in front of me, but how many athletes are qualified for stage 3?
Total competitors for stage 3. Let me see the total number here real quick. 23 total males, and I believe only 8 females. And so they're going to take the top 50%.
Okay.
Top 8 men and top 4 women will move on to the final stage. Here we see Jake Murray give it another good test
run. Is this Jake Murray that I see?
It is Jake Murray with the. That's right. He's wearing some flamboyant clothes out here, rocking the pinky and the brain mask. But showing us his skill here. Great lock-off strength.
Oh man, I'd recognize those fluorescent compression capri pants anywhere. Oh.
Looks like they're just doing some quality assurance tests here on the hooks to make sure it's going to be the same across the board for all the competitors. The various weights of all the competitors might be slightly wearing and tearing, so they're just trying to confirm that everything's operating fine. And looks like Mr. Gray's going down there, a little slip.
Oh,
but
you. Operating fine. I see what you did there. I had no idea you had this many puns in you.
I really enjoy the puns.
I feel like I'm learning something about you today. Yeah.
I know we haven't hung out much there, Evan. I think the last time we really got a good long conversation together was, man, the last Ninja Quickie back in preseason 7, I think. We went to wherever that beach CrossFit joint was. I can't even remember the name of it, but it was like an hour drive away. And yeah, that was the last time we really had a good long conversation.
I think you're talking. Yeah, no, it's true. You've just got. I guess we've been the community for so long. For a decade now, season 2 to season 12, and at least for me. And you're just you. I always feel like I don't know. I always feel so close to you. And maybe that's because we've known each other. Maybe it's because I see you on television. There's no way of knowing. But or maybe it's just your melodious voice that I can't get enough of. It's hard to say. But I just trust you is basically what I'm getting at.
Okay.
But no, yeah, Ninja Quickie. I think we got. I think it was M-Rock.
That's it.
Oceanside, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And boy, that was a good time. We had you. I think Dusty McKinney was part of that crew that day, and maybe Kyle Cochran as well.
Yep, because we were out there filming San Pedro. At least me and Dusty were out there.
Oh, that's right.
For the San Pedro region in the military episode.
Yes.
But yeah, I hear what you're saying,
that's
though,
right.
man. It's like we've all competed alongside each other, and I liken the show and the experience, the show and training together a lot to what the military kind of makes people go through, and it's a mutual suffering, to say the least, where we all kind of get that bonding and you feel closer with each other because of those experiences.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear that. It was striking to me. How many times have you competed out of the country?
Just out of the country would be only
have
twice.
You done? Yeah.
Malaysia is 2014 when we did
or did you do? Or you did Malaysia?
We did Malaysia in 2014, which was like a ninja skills challenge to a degree. It wasn't like full-blown course runs. And then, Sasuke in season 3, 2011. That was the only 2 times out of the country.
Okay.
Would love to have a crack at some of the other courses out and about, but looks like we're back ready to go here.
Oof. Making quick work of the cliffhanger, locked off, big swing, and a nice little shade of finish.
And we're on, Kai is up right now. Kai Ackle, after they tested the operation. Let's see how they fare. This man right here, I've seen him. He goes by the one and only True Super Saiyan, I think is his Instagram handle. The dude's definitely rock solid. Oh, don't drop the cane there. You don't want to drop your scalpel in your patient.
Oh, nice save. Great recovery. Excellent composure. That could have ended his stage 3 run way too early, especially with how strong he's looking right now.
You see it on his face, too. He's smiling. He's laughing it off. Oh, man, but definitely you get the spike of your heart rate when you feel those slight jolts. Moving on now to this next obstacle. I believe it's the shuffleboard. Yep, shuffleboard it is. Let's see how he does going uphill battle here.
Yep, looks like he was confirming with the course judge there, making sure he could step on the red to get started. And they gave him the official yes, you can. Misses that first hook, misses again. Couple extra swings here. Finally locks it in.
He's got to have a good amount of momentum to get uphill. And have the accuracy to stick the landing. Okay, good. Wow, and transfers off. Great job.
Really well done.
All right, so you got to be precise on these Oreo packages. You can't rip them open yourself. Got to stick the landing as best as you can. So far, so good. And from there, working his way straight onto that small landing platform. Got to be real precise. Great job. Furthest competitors so far.
Wow. That is such a precise landing, especially with a precarious hold like that. Those big holds are no joke. Takes so much grip strength to hold on to that thing, especially after you've been suspended from the Oreos and then transition to it.
Oh, he pops out on the
getting up and over. Oh.
Just pumped out there on the official name, the Claxecutioner. Takes its first victim.
Mouthful, Ryan.
I just like the clacker. That's pretty simple, but I'm gonna try to stick to the names as best as I can here with my country accent coming in from time to time. Brett Strong's up next.
As well it should. Now, right before that competitor, we had, as you said, a little bit of quality control on the operation obstacle. And sometimes, in my experience, especially on the show, if there's an obstacle that's taking out a bunch of athletes sequentially, they will put a tester back on the obstacle to successfully complete it, almost to reinvigorate the athletes, to remind them, yes, it's possible to get this thing done. Now, I don't know if that was what they had in mind, or maybe it was just quality control, but it is something that you see in competition.
Yeah, and that's a great thing for competitors to see, that things like this, when you see so many people fall in a similar fashion, it's like, hey, let's get some other folks on here, see what other body types are doing that aren't competitors, just to reassure that things are working the way they're supposed to. And I believe that is in itself a confidence boost for the other competitors that, okay, this isn't something that's, the fault of the obstacle. And that should give them a little more peace of mind.
Although in my case, I think every exit from American Ninja Warrior has been the fault of an obstacle. I mean, if I'm remembering correctly, I don't recall ever having a personal failure. It was always an obstacle failure.
That's no good.
Oh man.
Let's see how we're doing on this.
That's obviously not true.
Blame it on the obstacle, Bevan. That's the best way to go about it.
That's the best way. That's how I get through every day. That's how I get out of bed in the morning.
All right, let's see Brett and see how he does here. Brett Strong, the strong last name. How is he going to manage on operation here? Trying to make sure. Oh, got enough leverage. He wants to reinsert that first one.
Extension.
Dude. Good lock-off strength here, pulling all the way in.
So much time on obstacle right now. There it is.
Looking solid.
Boy, he's really figuring this out as he goes.
Here's his one chance to kind of catch his breath a little bit. On the straight holds on the hooks there before going back into the tricky part here where you got to have leverage. Here comes the reach. No, not enough. Banged into the bar there. Hopefully he's all right. It's going to get a check on the elbow here. Kind of came down hard. People have been going for the dismount from that middle bar, and it has been popping out, but it's a bit risky trying to get off that obstacle as smoothly as you can. Brett, great run, sir. That one looked like it stung a little bit. Hopefully it's not too bad and just going to be a little bit of a bruise there on the tricep. And Evan, I'm not sure if you're still there or not, but it seems I've lost the feed for your camera. Audio might not be coming through, Evan. I'll check with Mr. DeGangi on how to get you back in the mix here.
Ryan Stratus, I am still here. Just give me one moment.
Excellent. Okay. As long as you are, don't leave me in the dark, Evan. I'm scared of the dark. All right, so our last competitor was Brett Strong, who just ran. Now we're on to Tyler Smith, making it through that cliffhanger, no problem. Making it through the first obstacle onto a tricky operation here. Gonna need to be really precise, making sure that leverage locks those hooks in upside down. Gets the first one. Has the middle one in place, but now here comes the tricky part where he has to be careful. Doesn't want to have too much momentum or else it's going to slip right out. Nice try, Tyler Smith. Definitely a tough obstacle here. All right, we got visual again, Mr.
We're back
Evan.
in action.
Awesome.
feel like I'm finally warm enough where I almost want to start shedding some layers. But at this point, I don't know. I feel like that ship has sailed. It would feel gratuitous and self-serving. So I'm not going to do it. But I just wanted you to know I was thinking about it.
Excellent, excellent. Good to know. Save it for when you're back on the show for when it counts, Mr. Evan.
Yes. Yeah, when it counts. That's definitely when it counts.
All right, we got Tyler up now. Talked with this young lad a little while ago upstairs when he was swinging by my merch table. Appreciate the support from this guy and excited to see how he's going to do here. Smart move here, wiping off the tips of the hooks to make sure they're not going to slip. First one I've seen do that.
Now, are we thinking that some chalk residue could accumulate on the edges of those hooks and perhaps make it more slick within the slot?
Potentially. I mean, if he was trying to clean the tips just to make sure it's going to have enough friction, it's a smart move. And let's see, I think they're allowing resets potentially. On the ground, just shy of getting that third one in place. Nice try,
now,
Tyler.
I'm surprised we haven't seen more athletes with that beta that we saw early on, where you saw in there, he didn't like the reach that he had up to the third hook, so he went and rehooked on that lower hook instead of matching hands on that second hook that's already in place. And I feel like that might be the way to go.
Potentially as an option to try to get a big pull and reach to the hooking portion of the obstacle to kind of get off of those risky, slippery sections of the upside down positions that those hooks need to be in. Who knows? Not many people have figured out this puzzle quite yet. But we're going to see the rerun from Mr. Walker, Vance Walker, who looked pretty calm on him last time. And I think he is ready and raring to go and not wanting to rip open any more Oreo packages tonight.
Now, how nervous is he getting to those Oreos again? Especially since he's last competed, Operation has still been as nefarious as ever, taking out so many athletes. What is his mindset right now? How does he prepare to take on this course again and get that far in the course just to get another shot at the Oreo?
Well, I know Vance has done plenty of various courses. He gets only a little nervous whenever it comes to stage 1 agility type courses. It seems to be well within his wheelhouse on upper body courses, but that always gets in a competitor's head having to redo a course run completely from the start. So the fact that he's got to start everything back over again, it's great he gets a rerun, but at the same time, as a competitor, it can be rather frustrating.
Any word from Chris DeGanti as to why we're taking this little pause?
Let me check real quick. Chris is right here. Nope. I think we're ready with our next competitor right here. Might just, probably just a quick reset of a few things here and there, making sure everybody's in the right position. But Elijah Browning is up next. Coming all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, I believe, is where they are out of. He's been doing competitions for a long time. Let's see how this man's reach is going to play into this obstacle.
Yeah, again, I don't have a stat sheet in front of me, but it looks like his reach is incredible. Like, quite the wingspan. Look at that. Is that he's nearly putting that hook into the third slot with his feet still on the starting platform.
He's taller than me now. I remember seeing him when he was brand new in the game.
Height advantage.
He has definitely got the reach, but not the technique. Tough break, Elijah. Still an impressive run.
He was leaning too heavily on, obviously, yeah, incredible athleticism, but leaning a little too heavily on his wingspan and his height rather than the technique needed to get through that obstacle, especially with something that requires a very specific tension on that hook in the slot. But you've seen him come up in the sport, it sounds like, and he's obviously a phenomenal athlete, making it to stage 3 today. So there's going to be more to come out of some pretty fantastic performances, more to come out of him, I'm sure.
Most definitely. Looks like we got Mr. DeGangi back from the field, our field operative. Let's see what he has to say.
All right, guys. Well, I was just down talking to our head judge, Caden Lebsack, and I have an update on the Vance Walker situation. Vance was about to approach the starting line when he was informed that this would be the run that counts. So whether or not he fell on the cliffhanger, that's the run that would count. He would get a score of 1 obstacle, and he wouldn't get the score that goes all the way to the Oreos. So they weren't going to take the best run. They were only going to take that next run. And so Vance decided, since he's still in second place, not to rerun. Because if that rerun ended up worse, then his score would decrease. So they were not going to do best run. He was going to get only that second run, and he decided himself not to take the second run. He's still sitting in second place, and we'll see how the competition shakes out. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Chris DeGangi, for that update. And Ethan Swanson is in action right now. We will discuss the Vance situation and his decision to take a breather on that, which could be a bit of a risky move, but could be an intelligent move at the same time. But we'll talk more about that here after Mr. Swanson takes on the course.
Wow, very high up on that hook. Look at that grip. He's all the way at the top.
Ethan's been climbing quite a bit, which has increased his upper body strength by a lot. I believe he is definitely looking the strongest I've ever seen him. And let's see how he handles the down moves here. Here's where it gets a bit tricky.
It does get tricky. He's got to get it, a little bit twisted up there.
Don't get too much side-to-side swing here is going to cause that momentum to unhook those hooks here. What's he want to do? It's going to be tricky. Really loading the weight onto that obstacle.
Spending a lot of time on this obstacle.
Good release there. Come on, Swan. Let's make it safe. And he clears it.
Are they going to let him use both hooks?
Yeah, I was going to say, because he dropped the hook, I don't know if they were going to try to say, hey, that's gone into the water in a Never Never Land, but it looks like somebody was gracious enough to give him the hook, and now he's on to the shuffleboard.
Yeah, Ethan was putting on a clinic of composure and patience throughout that course and really exhibiting where he's at as an athlete. I mean, he truly is improving year after year, not only in his course design, but obviously also as an athlete. And right there, it shows you exactly why. Something wasn't working. He maintained his composure, had the strength in order to make those corrections and then complete the obstacle. Big backswing.
Getting the swing built, grabs right where he needs to be on the Oreos. So far, so good. And now he's got to still land on that small sliver of a landing pad. Just lost the grip.
Oh, slipped right off. I have to think that the time that he spent on operation, I wish I had a stopwatch in front of me. He spent so much time suspended, and it is just tough because the grip strength in your forearms, it's like a meter that's going up, really, when you're pumping out. It's like you're running out of strength. And I think if he had made a few more quicker corrections on operation, he might have had enough in the tank to make that transition. But man, he just continues to impress. He's one of the best athletes in the sport right now. And well done, Ethan. Well done.
That was a great run by Ethan. It might put him in the towards the top few runners to make it that far. Landed the grabs on the Oreos, but couldn't quite stick the dismount. But up next, we've got Levi Enright who's approaching that start line next. But yeah, the Vance situation where he decided to let the dice roll to see if he's going to stay in that position. Could come back to bite him if some of these other competitors make it further, faster on the course.
Well, that was going to be my question, is does he have the option to take that second run later on should he lose his placement, or was that his one shot at taking a rerun?
Great job by Levi through the cliffhanger, but I believe, Ethan, that was his only opportunity to either do the rerun or accept where he got on his first run. So it was either one or the other, and I believe that's where he decided just play the hand he was dealt and see if that's going to be good enough to move him on to the final stage.
Got it. Yeah. Well, as you said, it might come back to bite him, but based on how challenging this stage 3 is and how well he did to make it to the Euros in the first place, I think there's a good chance that we'll see him advance to stage 4.
Hopefully so. We've got Levi going right now here. He's gotten through, made a big move off of that, the first couple of holds there. Now he's working his way down, looking pretty strong here and controlled. Nice lock-off strength.
Look at that lock-off. Just stalled in midair
effortless.
with that 90-degree hold, one-handed. So much strength on display.
Yeah, getting through that obstacle with that lock-off power, it shows he's probably going to have the endurance for later on here. Just the efficiency at its finest there. And let's see how he handles this shuffleboard. Need to get up this track. And the accuracy needed, very good. Nicely done. Here we go on the Oreo swing here. Gets the grab. He's got to transfer to that cliffhanger and make the dismount still to that lower platform for that whole obstacle to count. Sticks the landing, almost stepped off, but he holds. Ooh, close one.
Great balance. Good correction there to make sure he stayed on the landing platform.
And here we go on the Claxecutioner. Let's see if he can be our first athlete to make it through this obstacle. A slight variation of the clacker. Traditionally, you would have your handles out to the side and just utilize those, but now you're in a vertical grip, which makes it a little trickier and taxing on the grip because you're not able to hang on to just a normal handle.
When I don't think I've personally ever seen a course with this much vertical grip. It's pretty unique, and he makes it through, first athlete to do so.
Good job, Levi. He is now leading the charge for the remainder of the athletes on uncharted territory here. And this obstacle, let me see the quick name on it. Ooh, got it. Little ledge, not enough grip.
Oh.
Did someone say pump is the name of this route? And rightfully so, because you're pretty much pumped out by the time you get to this one. Only allowed to use those small ledges on those cannonball holds, and then the big slippery ones you can grab onto the top, but that still isn't much, not very forgiving. So that is definitely a pumpy next to last obstacle.
I have to say, Ryan, I think you've just revolutionized the sport, because the obstacles have always been named, but the courses themselves or the stages have not. And can you say pump is a great name for this stage 3? And I think every competition moving forward, the stages themselves need to be named. And I think you need to be the one to name them.
You have to give the credit to the Bucket of Chalk kids. They're the ones that came up with all the obstacle names. I do love coming up with some catchy titles when I can. But all credit goes to the Bucket of Chalk crew. And we're on to Mr. I believe this is Nolan. Nolan's on the course right now through the cliffhanger. And Paige the doctor, it's time for another operation.
There he is. and it looks like he's got some AirPods in. Might be listening to some music while he's tackling this course, which we've seen before with some athletes.
Hey, some people love getting in the zone. They've got their playlists. Sometimes it's a way for them to know the time and the pace they need to set for themselves, as long as they know the songs by heart. And this guy's looking nice and relaxed here. So Nolan's making his way through. Even has a chance to adjust his earbud.
That is the highlight reel. That's highlight reel material. The hardest obstacle in this entire competition so far. And he took a moment to adjust his AirPod because he had to make sure that his tunes were right.
Showing some confidence
man.
here. Very impressive. On to the shuffleboard. Needs to get a good backswing to make sure he can get up this ramp and then stick on to that last hold. Look at that. Nice finesse. Onto the platform.
I'm going to say something slightly controversial. I think his forearms are right up there. Give him a couple more years, and his forearms could look like Jeff Britton. I really do think.
For as much as these kids are working out, most definitely. I don't think that's controversial one bit. Jeff's going to be getting his run for his money at this rate. And an easy dismount there for this guy.
Well, I mean, to see someone, a pro like Ethan Swanson, as an example, he slid off that tube, that thick tube, and then for him to even have enough strength to take an extra backswing just to make sure that he was lined up to hit the platform on the dismount. He easily the strongest competitor that I've seen tackle this course today.
Shows a lot of confidence in your abilities right there to be able to, ensure the landing. Even on a risky obstacle like that. He's making short work of the Claxecutioner here. On we go to did someone say pump? One of the phrases. Getting tongue-tied here. Too many obstacle names.
Too many.
I don't think this guy's pumped at all. I think he's looking around for a little chalk or maybe a little sip of water. There we go. Get that man hydrated.
Boy, I like what I'm seeing out of this athlete.
Ooh, big jump. Those are slick. They don't have much friction there. And then he's got those small ledges, crimp holds onto the peg bombs. Furthest yet of all competitors. Come on. He tips that one over.
Oh, he's got to go back up to the peg. He left it on the cannonball, and unfortunately he can't correct. You can see he's disappointed in himself. Yeah. Obviously a little smile on his face, but he wanted to do a little bit better.
Man, yeah. When you're frustrated after making it that far, making it further than anybody, that just shows how dedicated some of these competitors are and how bad they want to succeed on this multi-staged course. But, man, that's going to put him in the lead here. Nolan takes charge with 5 points in 2 minutes, 32 seconds. And we see Vance is fifth place, starting to get lower, possibly to that cutoff point as these other competitors run. And we still have 4 more competitors, so it might be close.
What is the cutoff point for this stage 3, Ryan?
I believe they are taking the top 8 males and top 4 females onto the final stage.
Whew. Yeah, cutting it close for Vance. See if he can hold on. And also rounding out the top 5, you had Ethan Swanson there, placing 4th right now. So hopefully he will be able to hold on and make it to the stage 4 as well.
Exactly. Here we go, Mr. Nolan. This young man was impressing me in the earlier stages, flying through stage 1, had an impressive stage 2 performance. Rocking Najee Richardson Phoenix shirt. Let's see how he can handle some of these other obstacles on stage 3. I've got high hopes for this young man right here. Good maneuver there to adjust instead of going for the other hold. He's got to control the swing a little bit, try to steady it down some. No! Just too much backswing.
Yes. Oh!
Man,
It's
he was
like
looking
you called
strong.
it as you
Yeah.
saw it, Ryan. Very, very strong. He absolutely has the strength and the skill to complete that obstacle. It was just a matter of maybe even pulling his knees up a little bit, activating his core a bit, as you said, to control that swing. So that way it didn't slide out the way that it did. Because, boy, he had more to give on that obstacle.
For sure. Yes, he did. It's a tough one to see when they're super strong like that. But sometimes when you're going so fast, you're trying to hurry through an obstacle. That's sometimes works against you, sadly.
Yeah.
Well, Evan, I'm tagging in for Ryan here because this is one of my closest training partners, Cam Baumgartner, extremely strong competitor. Saw him on A&W this year, and he punched a ticket to the semifinals.
Nicely done. Well, he's looking very composed in that first obstacle. I like almost like a quarter lock off. He wasn't fully extended, but he didn't have that full 90-degree lock off, just maintaining enough to have control and still conserve some of that upper body strength.
Yeah, lock-off's certainly one of Cam's strengths. I expect this obstacle to not be a problem for him. Oh, no.
Oh! He drops the hook. Is there any... I mean, that's an athlete error, right? That's just it. He can't continue the obstacle.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is an athlete error.
Man.
He's not allowed to continue. Nobody's going to hand him that cane. And that is so unfortunate because I'm telling you, Evan, this guy has so much more left in the tank than what we just saw.
I believe you, no question. I mean, even the effort that he put into those first two obstacles and just how composed he was up until the point that he dropped that hook, it seemed like he was a very strong competitor. And this is the thing, the sport is growing. He's continuing to develop as an athlete. There will be more opportunities in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we're on to Caden Madzalin. This guy has looked very impressive all day today. If you've been following the Bucket of Chalk competition today, this is somebody you're watching out for who can take that money.
Chris, did you have a chance to get your hands on this obstacle?
I did not get a chance to get my hands on this obstacle. I got my hands on stage one, and it went terribly.
Ooh. I find that hard to believe.
Oh, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Putting the pieces together here.
I gotta wonder if he can reset here.
Really turned around. Yeah, once his feet leave that starting platform, I don't know that he's allowed to get his feet back on in order to reset.
Yeah, it certainly didn't look like it.
Unfortunately, he'll be another athlete that'll fall victim to operation.
Well, this obstacle is proving to be our ninja killer for sure today.
Yeah, no doubt whatsoever. I mean, but it comes at the right moment. Early on in stage 3, it's a challenging obstacle. It's a new obstacle. It's one that people haven't seen before. And I like that what I appreciate about the course designers is that they're continuing to push the boundaries, trying to find that edge, making sure that these athletes are proving themselves over and over again with a new technique and a new obstacle to show their adaptability and put that on display. And that's one of the fun parts about this sport in general.
Yeah, absolutely. And our last competitor, our final runner here on stage 3 is going to be Daniel Gill. This guy has been amazing today. We'll see if he's got it in him to get through operation.
Daniel Gill, every time I watch him compete, I think he's getting better, and I don't know how it's possible. Like, how did he manage to improve upon the last time? Because he's always so fast, so strong, so smooth, very composed. Like, every aspect of his game is incredibly strong, and he is just a pleasure to watch. It's just a pleasure to watch him compete.
Well, he's figuring out. He's
too
being
much pressure
very
on that lowest hook.
Yeah, he's being very cautious
There
here.
we go.
really trying to figure it out. Looks like he's gone to the safe spot at the top here. Ooh, hold on to that cane, Daniel.
Swing. I really want him to control his swing, bring those knees up a little bit. There he goes.
He heard you.
He did. He did.
Oh, wow,
skipping. The subtle voice of the Rocket.
Skipping on the way down. Oh, my gosh, that is the first time we've seen that.
What, I have not seen one athlete do this obstacle the same way. Any athlete that's completed it has done it a little bit differently. Ooh, knocked that hook around, didn't quite make it, but after one swing, makes the correction, locks it in.
Well, he's got a lot of swing here, making his way through the shuffleboard. Gently places the cane at the end there.
He had swing to spare. A lot of momentum. Better than not enough, though, especially when you're going uphill. And now onto the Oreos.
Yeah, this is Caden's Oreo dunk. Oh! Daniel Gill goes down. Oh, a shocking exit for Daniel.
Now, we were just looking at the leaderboard, Chris. Vance Walker fell at that same spot, and he was, I believe, in 5th place when we saw him. I'm not sure is he just doing this again for fun to challenge himself?
Yeah, this looks like he's doing this for fun. This certainly doesn't count, but
okay.
We're going to go ahead and pull up our leaderboard.
I just wanted to make sure for the viewers at home.
Right, yeah, he's just doing that for fun. But let's take a look at our leaderboard. So on the women's side, extremely impressive. Isabella Wakeham taking 1st place, getting 3 points. The other 4 women struggling, with operation, not being able to get through an extremely difficult obstacle that took out plenty of ninjas on both the men and women's side. But let's go ahead and look over on the men's side. So in 1st place, Nolan LaJoy is going to take it. Oh, sorry about that. Nolan LaJoy is going to take stage 3. Let me get my sorry. I'm clicking too many things. Let me get my let me get this back here. Okay.
There's no one more qualified to get this back. Where do we need to be? I trust you implicitly.
Okay, so Nolan LaJoy getting that 1st place spot with 5 points. Right behind him is Levi, followed by Kai Ackle. Daniel Gill taking the 4th place spot. And you can see Vance Walker in 7th place. Kind of tight there, but it looks like he will be moving on to the next round.
Wow. Well, that just goes to show the speed of Daniel Gill getting to that same point. I'm trying to do the math right now, and you know what? I'm not going to be able to. But let's call it 30 seconds. Let's call it around 30 seconds more faster than Vance Walker, and that's part of what makes Daniel Gill so special. He has the strength and the composure as an athlete, but he also moves quickly through the course. So that puts him in 4th place, bumping Vance down to 7th. But both will now advance to stage 4.
Yeah, stage 4 is going to be really exciting.
And
go ahead, Evan.
No, it's just you finish up. I want to hear what you had to say.
Oh no, I was just gonna kind of do the outro here because this concludes our stream. This concludes stage 3. But I wanted to give a huge thank you for Evan for joining us here for stage 3, and Ryan Stratus on the cast. You guys are absolutely epic. So I really appreciate you guys out here on the stream.
Great chatting with you, Evan.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me.
Line, my friend.
Have me, man.
Take it away, Mr. DeGangi.
Yeah, Ryan, we need to have more conversations, if only so I can bask in more of your puns. Because I'm ashamed that I didn't know you had all that in you. And yeah, we need to make this a more regular occasion. So thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, Ryan certainly has a lot of pun potential.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Chris, there can only be one. Oh,
All right,
man.
well,
No,
that does it for
I
our.
really do appreciate you having me. It's been an absolute blast.
Really appreciate it, Evan. Seriously, thank you so much for coming out, brother. That does it for our Stage 3 stream. We're going to cut the stream here and start a new stream for Stage 4, which will be happening in a few minutes. We're coming back for Stage 4. We're going to end this epic day and see who comes out on top on the men and women's side. I'm going to read off some of our sponsors because without them, this would not be possible. Castle Rock Cryo Care, Biaggi Bros, Copeland Precast, Peakview Dental, the Ninja Master app, Stronghold, WIPFLI, Hire & Company, Our Way Pools, Bucket of Chalk, Strike Movement, the Ninja Passport, and Zimmer Biomet. Thank you so much for helping us have this epic day, bringing all these ninjas together. It has been a blast, and we are about to come to an epic conclusion in Stage 4. So we're going to cut the stream now. Be sure to come back to the Bucket of Chalk Facebook channel, YouTube, to watch and see who takes it home for this Bucket of Chalk.